On the news tonight, President Tinubu meets with security chiefs over rising insecurity. Federal government waives import duties on mass transit buses, electric vehicles, others. U.S. military set to begin its blockade of Iranian ports. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the news around the world. I am Buluwaji Ogumola, and on the sign language corner is Korede Oluleye. President Bola Tinubu has held a security meeting with service chiefs, intelligence heads, and the Inspector General of Police. The meeting, which took place at the presidential villa in Abuja, is coming amid the escalation of attacks on military formations in parts of the country by terrorists. Present at the closed-door meeting include the Chief of Defense Staff, National Security Advisor, Chiefs of the Army, Navy, and Air Staff, the Director General of the Department of State Services, the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, and the Inspector General of Police. At the time of filing this report, details of the meeting are yet to be ascertained. The Yobe State government has said that the Jili community affected by the military airstrike is a Boko Haram stronghold in the Gubio local government area of Borno State. The security advisor to the governor, Brigadier General Dahiru Abdusalam retired, disclosed this in a press statement to journalists while clarifying whether the incident happened in Yobe or Borno. He also disclosed that some of the injured came from Gaidam local government area bordering Gubio local government area in Borno State, went to the Jili weekly market but had been moved to a hospital. Meanwhile, the Chief Medical Director of Maiduguri Specialist Hospital, Dr. Shehu Mohammed, has confirmed that the receipt of 21 injured people from the Jili airstrikes who were receiving medical attention. Recall that several people were feared killed following the airstrikes at the market located at a border community. According to sources, a military fighter jet was tracking the movement of suspected Boko Haram insurgents in the area, who were reportedly said to have moved to the market to collect levies from residents before the incident occurred. The Nigerian military on Monday said that a commanding officer and 6 other soldiers of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hardin Kai paid the supreme price after his troops successfully repelled a terrorist attack in Manguno, Borno State. It said that the incident occurred late on Sunday when troops of Sector 3 came under an isolated attack by terrorists at the Charlie 13 location. According to a statement issued by Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, the troops engaged the attackers in a fierce gun battle, forcing them to retreat while maintaining control of the area. However, tragedy struck shortly after the encounter as the commanding officer, who had moved to the front line to assess the situation, was killed by an improvised explosive device, IED. According to the statement, the commanding officer's actions, even after the immediate threat had been neutralized, reflected the highest traditions of military leadership, courage, selfless service, and leading from the front line. The military, however, said that the troops remain in firm control of the location following the attack. A policy analyst, Rotimi Agboluwaje, has called for improved welfare for military personnel, including better remuneration and modern equipment to boost morale in the fight against insecurity. He made a call while speaking on the recent Borno terror attack, which led to the killing of an army general and 17 soldiers on BCOS Television's Current Affairs Breakfast program, AM 120. Olamide Owolabi, our reporter, reports.
A recent terrorist attack in Borno State left the Brigadier General and 17 soldiers dead during a coordinated assault on a military base. The attack, which also led to the destruction of vehicles and military infrastructure, occurred in Kaga local government area of the state. Reacting to the development on BCOS AMO 20 program, policy analyst Rotimi Agboluaje stressed that strong political will and accountability are essential to effectively combat insecurity in the country. He expressed concern over the reported spread of terrorist activities towards the southwest, citing incidents in Akure North where residents have reportedly fled their communities for safety.
What we are saying is we should not just assume, we should not just be sleeping that the region is safe. The region, those terrorists are here. They are not just kidnappers, not just those who are looking for money, not just merchants. No, some kidnappers and merchants, they are just looking for money. Terrorists and insurgents are here with us, and they are operating.
Okay,
we must stop them. It's very unfortunate that people are investing in security fund, but mind you, if the leader, they say the buck stop on the table of the leader. If certain amount of money have been allocated for security, mind you, we have a lot of ministry, at least 3 ministries, or more than 30 that are in charge of security. We have the Ministry of Defense, we have the Ministry of Police Affairs. I don't know whether that one still exists. We have even the Ministry of Interior. That's where we have the civil defense, we have some other people. Those are this money allocated, yearly they allocate money to those ministries. That means by the time you put everything together, the amount of money we are allocating for security is huge. But people are asking, where is the result? The result is probably the embezzlement. Some people are saying, first, the recurrent expenditure is very huge. When you do budget, you do recurrent expenditure, you do capital expenditure. The capital expenditure is what you can use for fixed asset and some other thing.
He maintained that a safe and secure environment is fundamental to governance, warning that neglecting security challenges could have far-reaching consequences. He also stressed that justice is key to achieving lasting peace, calling for the prosecution of financiers, collaborators, and supporters of terrorism while addressing the root causes of insecurity.
The government must ensure that, first, the welfare of the rank and file of any security agency is taken care of. So people will say, nobody will remember the chief of army staff. People remember that if somebody came into this country, led this country, and during that period, terrorists overruns the country.
But it can't do it
people
alone.
still talk about Jonathan regime. That with democratic credential that Jonathan have, people are still saying that, people are now saying, bring back Jonathan. Bring back Jonathan. But anytime that report comes up, some people are saying that when he was there, corruption was rife, insecurity was deep. And those things, they are still using it against him. Then the person who is there as the president now, his scorecard will also be brought out anytime. Now talk about somebody protecting the country. I think they need to be taken care of far, far, far better than any other people.
Agboluaje further condemned reports on an alleged airstrike on a market in Borno State, calling for a thorough and transparent investigation to ascertain the facts surrounding the incident. Olamide Owolabi, BCOS News.
Of the Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe, OPDS, have arrested 26 crew members and intercepted 3 vessels over alleged involvement in crude oil theft within the Calabar-Akwa Ibom Maritime Corridor. The operation, carried out at about 11:45 p.m. last week Wednesday, led to the arrest of motor tanker Mpodu and motor tanker Westaff, which authorities said were apprehended at a wellhead while allegedly engaged in illegal siphoning of crude oil. According to the military, motor tanker Kodu was allegedly caught in the process of siphoning the found loaded with about 480 metric tons of suspected stolen crude, while motor tanker Westaff had approximately 459 metric tons on board at the time of arrest. Following the interception, Nigerian Navy shipfare, supported by a helicopter, was deployed to secure the vessels and provide real-time aerial surveillance. The vessels and crew were subsequently taken into custody offshore and later transferred to the naval jetty in Calabar by Nigerian Navy ship Ose alongside personnel from the forward operating base Ibaka. Similarly, a third vessel, motor tanker Stelios K, was arrested on April 10, 2026 by Nigerian Navy ship Gongola for similar suspected offenses. While parading the suspects at the Nigerian Navy ship Victory jetty, the commander, Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral Olubenga Oladipo, stated that the operation underscored the task force's commitment to combating crude oil theft and safeguarding critical oil and gas infrastructure. We shall now take a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Just imagine walking into a full 80 to 90,000 stadium capacity with all eyeballs on you. The feeling you've been waiting for. You are now like a Michael Jackson on stage. You're a star. And this is the moment. Your 15 seconds, 10 seconds moment to shine, to deliver that God-given talent, to deliver those 46 hours a day training. Once that moment comes, go through those emotions, but at the end of the day, love it, live it, and deliver. This is MTN Champs, Season 4. To register, log on to mtnchamps.com.
All right, everyone, open your ears, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange the sounds to give us small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before I go talk, say our smell no reach. Make not think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth. With Colgate, that's what you got with your smile.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
The federal government has granted a waiver on import duties for mass transit buses, electric vehicles, and manufacturing machinery. The development followed President Bola Tinubu's directive to key economic officials to design measures to cushion the impact of the ongoing Middle East crisis on Nigerians, particularly amid rising fuel prices. A disclosure contained in a post on X on Monday by the Special Assistant to President on social media, Dada Olusegun, noted that the move is part of new fiscal measures aimed at easing economic pressure on Nigerians and curbing inflationary pressures. Olusegun said the Tinubu administration approved a broad set of import duty reductions to lower inflation, support businesses, and improve affordability for consumers. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said that despite claims alleging that the chairman, Joash Amupiton, made a partisan post on X, no verified forensic evidence links him to the said post. The Director of Information and Communication Technology, Lawrence Bayode, stated this during a television interview on Monday morning. His comment follows the alleged post of the INEC chairman, allegedly expressing support for the All Progressive Congress, APC, during the 2023 general elections. The director, however, stated that the matter would not be swept under the rug. Rather, it had been referred to security agencies and a third-party forensic expert for further investigations. Speaking further, the INEC tech chief said Grok could hallucinate and that a social media account could be opened using someone else's email address. The ICT director also explained that the issue appeared to be more than it seemed, suggesting that it could be a case of digital impersonation. In an age where information spreads within seconds, false reports and baseless allegations have become a growing concern, raising serious questions about credibility, accountability, and the dangers of misinformation. On Unverified claims circulating across social and public platforms continue to damage reputations, create confusion, and deepen mistrust within communities. BCOS reporter Fidura Afolagboye examines the social and legal consequences of false alarm and allegations.
A false report is information presented as fact, but is either intentionally or unintentionally inaccurate. A false allegation, on the other hand, is a wrongful claim made against an identifiable person or group, often resulting in reputational damage and emotional distress. Whether shared through social media, official channels, or word of mouth, such claims can escalate tension, spark conflict, and disrupt peace in workplaces and communities. The increasing spread of misinformation underscores the need for careful verification before sharing any claim. Speaking with BCOS News, legal practitioner Babatunde Ojeomon stated that false reports and allegations are criminal offenses punishable under Nigerian law. He explained the false allegations are particularly serious because they are directed at specific individuals and can directly harm their reputation and social standing. He added that legal defenses for false claims are limited and offenders may face prosecution if found guilty, stressing that victims of false accusation, on the other hand, also have the right to seek legal redress.
So both are punishable under the criminal law in Nigeria. They are both offenses. So both of them are offenses in Nigeria. If you are found to be in this kind of situation as somebody that gave false information or wrongly accused or falsely accused an individual, and it is taken up by the law enforcement agent, okay, you will be made to face prosecution. And if you don't, mostly these are strict liability offenses, strict liability offenses in the sense that it is very difficult. No much defenses are open to the defendants. Okay, especially for the one of raising false alarm.
Also speaking, Mr. Eniayo Akintujoye, Esquire, noted that the law treats false allegations and false alarms with utmost seriousness. He explained that anyone who falsely accuses another of a crime may face the same punishment the accused would have received if found guilty. Mr. Akintujoye further warned that social media has amplified the spread of false information, eroding public trust, and in extreme cases, fueling jungle justice.
It's a complete no-no. It definitely damages the trust of public officers. And again, justice is not just for the state. It's not just for the victim, It's also for the people. There must be that sense of confidence in the populace that justice is being done. So if there is the possibility for people to think that those who genuinely have committed an offense could have been wrongly alleged, then we are breaking down the public confidence in the justice system. And a time will come when the confidence of the public is broken down, then people will start resorting to self-help. That's when you start having jungle justice.
Both legal practitioners urged members of the public to verify information before sharing it, emphasizing that responsible communication is essential to safeguarding reputations, maintaining trust, and preserving social harmony. Fidora Afolagboye, BCOS News.
Another time out, don't go away.
Just imagine walking into a full 80 to 90,000 stadium capacity with all eyeballs on you. The feeling you've been waiting for. You are now like a Michael Jackson on stage. You're a star. And this is the moment. Your 15 seconds, 10 seconds moment to shine, to deliver that God-given talent, to deliver those 46 hours a day training once that moment comes. Go through those emotions, but at the end of the day, love it, live it, and deliver. This is MTN Champs Season 4. To register, log on to mtnchamps.com.
Super Malt Multivitamin Junior.
The Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, CCII, has honored Mogaji Olajide Olushina Olatoye, popularly known as Big Daddy Sugar, with the Icon of Ibadan Heritage Award in recognition of his contributions to cultural preservation and community development. Our reporter, Folashade Akintola, reports.
The award ceremony attracted family members, friends, and well-wishers who gathered to celebrate a man widely regarded as a symbol of dignity, peace, and service in Ibadan land. Speaker at the event described Mogaji Olatoye as a committed community leader who has consistently contributed to the growth and unity of his people. Shortly after receiving the award, Mogaji Olatoye expressed profound appreciation to the organizer, describing the recognition as a great honor. He also paid tribute to his father, a pioneer member of the council, noting that the legacy of service continued to inspire his commitment to community development.
I feel on top of life because I'm surprised. I consider myself worthy. There are millions of citizens of Ibadan land, but out of the little, like 40 or 45 people in this Ibadan land, that they give the opportunity. I thank my God. I thank my parents, most especially my dad. He's one of the founders of CCRI. That I get the opportunity of being given the lowest award, Icon of Ibadan Heritage. It's a pleasure.
Family members and friends also spoke glowingly about him, portraying him as a man of integrity, humility, and generosity, always willing to support others.
I'm very excited, I'm happy because he deserves it. He's an Ibadan indigene, well known in Ibadan, and he's a politician.
Is it true that he's always very compassionate and is very sacrificial? He puts himself last most times. His kids come first, his parents, his partner. So I'm very proud of him actually, because I think it takes a lot of achievements for it to be recognized, to be given such award.
He merits that award because he loves this Ibadan so well. Everything about him is all about Ibadan.
Honorable Olatoye, that is doing the ceremony today, coronation. We thank God for his life. He's a person that is helpful. He's ready to assist whoever in need. He's a man of courage and he's a man of integrity.
The ceremony later progressed into a receptions where guests were entertained with music, food, and refreshment, adding color to the memorable celebrations. Folashade Akintola, BCOS News.
The long term of law has caught up with one Mutiu Adelabu for attempting to vandalize the electrical high-tension cable of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS, at the Basharon headquarters. The incident occurred last week Thursday around 7:30 p.m. The suspect, who had been in police custody, was on Monday arraigned at Iyaganku Magistrate Court. The suspect admitted to committing the crime and was admitted to bail in the sum of 100,000 naira and 2 sureties in like sum. The case has been adjourned to May 8, 2026. It will be recalled that BCOS in 2024 suffered complete vandalization of a 100 kV transformer at Agility FM, Gambari Ogbomosho, the consequences of which the corporation is yet to recover from. Finale of Season 4 of its National Athletics Championship, MTN Champs in Ibadan, as part of efforts to discover and develop young sporting talents across the country. The company says that the initiative, launched in 2023, is designed to identify, nurture, and groom future Olympic athletes for Nigeria. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurrafi was at the press conference. He files in the details.
The press conference heralding Season 4 of MTN Champs attracted key stakeholders in the sports sector, including representatives of the National School Sports Festival, Making of Champions, the Oyo State Sports Council, and the Oyo State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Wasilat Adegoke. Also in attendance were five-time Olympian Mary Onyali, Ibadan-born Olympian Enoch Adegoke, athletes from Jos and Calabar centers, as well as selected champions currently in the MTN Champs Academy. Delivering his welcome address, the General Manager, Consumer Segment, MTN Nigeria, Idowu Adeshokun, reaffirmed the company's commitment to bridging the gap between challenge and opportunity by providing platforms for young Nigerians to realize their full potential in sports. He noted that since its inception, MTN Champs has recorded significant growth with thousands of young athletes participating from secondary schools across the country.
Following the success that we recorded in the earlier editions, the fourth edition is taking it a notch higher. And what I mean by a notch higher is that we are working on a 3-year plan to build the athletes that will represent us at the 2028 Olympics. That's what we are working towards, so that we can look back at MTN Champs and say that those stars that will win the medals for us, we started their journey here. And Ibadan is quite important for us because Ibadan has always recorded the highest number of athletes performing. Ibadan has very good facilities.
In his remarks, the Chief Executive Officer, Making of Champs, Adebambo Akoni, disclosed that over 30 exceptional athletes from previous editions are currently undergoing specialized training under a scholarship program. He added that the competition is organized in line with international standards, with a focus on developing globally competitive athletes while also supporting their educational advancement.
When it comes to sports development in Nigeria, I always felt that we stopped at discovery. We'd have a competition, grassroots competition, and we would stop at discovery. And what MTN Champs has allowed us to do is move from discovery to full-scale development. We have the academy with 30 athletes. MTN is sponsoring 20 of them for 3 years. Beacon Power Services sponsoring 2 of them as well for 3 years with student athlete scholarships. And there's space for more brands, more corporates across the country to join this journey of sports development to deliver more medals for Nigeria at the international stage, at the Olympics.
In a goodwill message, the Oyo State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Wasilat Adegoke, assured of the state government's commitment to providing a conducive environment, including adequate security and infrastructure for the success of the event.
To say that in Nigeria, Oyo State is more secured, and I think that's one of the best things to provide for this kind of event.
Also speaking, Mary Onyali, the National Ambassador of MTN Champs, and Enoch Adegoke, the Ibadan Ambassador for Season 4, commended the initiative, noting that it is creating opportunities and a brighter future for young Nigerian athletes.
Parents, don't limit your children to just staying in school. They can do both. It actually gives them more room. Being involved in sports gives your children, helps them study better, retain information better, and be a strong ambassador to your family and the country at large.
Whatever has been done in the time past, much more will be replicated in this season. So whatever MOC has been doing for the past 3-4 years, maybe to the outsiders, you might not be seeing the fruits now, but come back in a few years' time, early 2028, and some other conditions will come, we will definitely see the fruit.
As part of efforts to enhance grassroots sports development, the organizers have introduced a 20 million naira regional grant to schools to boost participation and reward outstanding performance. The grand finale, scheduled to hold from April 13 to 17, will take place at Lotun Salami Stadium and the University of Ibadan Sports Complex. Over 3,000 athletes are expected to participate, making it the largest turnout since the competition began. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
We shall now take a short commercial. Please stay tuned.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to a new kingdom, guys.
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on, malaria gone.
Àwọn kan máa ń sọ pé ẹ̀kọ́ dìrọ̀rùn. Ọmọ èmi gẹ́gẹ́ bí abiyamọ, mo rí ìpèníjà fún ọmọ mi. Nítorí ẹ̀ ni mo ṣe máa ń fún ní Bonvita mo lójoojúmọ́. Bonvita ń fún wọn ní agbára láti máa yege lójoojúmọ́.
Nigerians have been urged to be intentional about their body and to take natural supplements that build the body, not sugar that causes more harm than good to the body. This was the view of an expert while speaking on the dangers associated with taking too much sugar. BCOS reporter Joy Onwanko examines the effects of too much sugar to the body.
Refined sugars refers to sugars that have undergone processing to remove impurities and color, resulting in highly purified products. Refined sugars are used to prepare some of our daily snacks, ranging from cakes, smoothie, and bread. Refined sugars are high in calories, but lack essential nutrients, such as vitamins, minerals, and fiber. However, there is a need to identify the dangers inherent in consuming high refined sugars. In a chat to BCOS News, a principal medical officer in the University of Ibadan, Dr. Adeleye Adedoku, stated that excessive sugar intake can lead to damage of all parts of the human body.
When you take too much of refined sugar, it affects all parts of the body. And that's why, for instance, when I tell people about diabetes mellitus, I say that's a disease that affects all parts of the body, from the crown of the head to the sole of the feet. It affects everybody. It affects everything, okay? It affects the brain, it affects sight, vision, it affects the heart, it affects the kidneys, it affects even the peripheral nerves. When I say peripheral nerves, I'm talking of everything apart from the brain, because the central nerves are what you have in the head, okay? And then the peripheral nerves, so it affects all parts of the body. The reason I tell people that diabetes being a disease of sugar metabolism preponderantly is a disease that affects every part of the body. You understand me? Because sugar is the currency of the body. Just like Naira to Nigeria, like pound sterling to them in the United Kingdom, like yen to them in Japan. Sugar is the currency of the body. So whatever affects sugar affects every part of the body.
He further stated that in a bid for Nigerians to reduce their sugar intake, there is a need for them to be very intentional and to take natural supplements that add more nutrients to the body.
I tell people, take fruits. Take vegetables. Be more intentional with nuts, with cereal. Take things like that. They're much better. They deliver more nutrients. They have what we call antioxidants because they help to mop, what we call free radicals. Our body is like an engine that produces a lot of black soot. Okay? Something that helps to clean the black soot. So, long and short is that excessive sugar, no. You should begin to cut. People always ask me, what if I'm still young? Oh, no. If there's any time to start to stop, it is now. It is when people are young, in their teenage days. And I tell parents, Do not train children to go only on, because they have to take that to school, and the rest of them, oh, can't they take fruit to school? Excuse me. Can't they take things without adding so much of sugar? So these are things that we all need to look into.
The experts further encouraged that Nigerians should increase their intake of vegetables and fruits, as these contain nutrients that are very vital and nourishing to the body. Joy Wankwo, BCOS News.
Victor Opona is standing by for Sports News.
Thank you for joining us on the sports segment of the news tonight. I am Victor Opone.
We start with the news that Tottenham are in advanced talks over a free transfer for Liverpool defender Andy Robertson this summer. Robertson confirmed last week he is leaving Anfield after 9 years at the club when his contract expires this summer. Spurs have a long-term interest in the 32-year-old left-back and tried to sign him during the January transfer window, but Liverpool were not prepared to let him leave. Tottenham remain committed to signing the Scotland captain, and while sources insist a full agreement is yet to be reached, discussions are understood to be at an advanced stage. Any deal, however, is contingent on Spurs staying in the Premier League. They are 18th in the table and in the relegation zone, 2 points adrift of 17th place West Ham. Still in the Premier League, Sunderland have condemned the racist abuse directed at forward Brian Brobry on social media following Sunday's 1-0 Premier League win over Tottenham, saying it highlights the ongoing and unacceptable frequency of this behaviour. The club reported the abuse to the Premier League, social media platforms and the police, and said they expect swift action to be taken against those responsible. Brobby is the latest Premier League player to be sent social media abuse this season, with 4 players, including teammate Romain Mundu, targeted in one weekend in February. We're going with the sad news that Ghanaian footballer Dominic Frimpong has died after suspected armed robbers opened fire at the bus carrying his team Berekum Chelsea back from a match. Marksmen wielding guns and assault rifles ambushed the bus and blocked the road as the team returned home on Sunday, according to the club. Police say Frimpong sustained gunshot wounds and died while receiving treatment. A manhunt for the suspects is underway. The Ghana Football Association, GFA, expressed its profound shock and deep sorrow, describing the 20-year-old as a promising young talent whose dedication and passion for the game embodied the spirit of the league. The team was on the road back from a Ghana Premier League game against Samatex in Sam Reboy, 270 kilometers away from Berekum, which they lost 1-0. And we wrap up with the story that a championship rugby league match between Gul Vikings and Whitehaven was delayed by 80 minutes after a replica grenade was found next to the pitch. Gul released a statement 30 minutes before the intended kickoff time, saying that Sunday's match had been delayed because of an incident at the Victoria Pleasure Ground that is currently being handled by the relevant authorities. Fans were advised not to arrive at the venue until later. The suspected grenade was found near the ground's athletics track, which surrounds the pitch following a routine pre-match safety inspection. The play eventually got underway, with supporters told to return to the ground shortly before.
And with that, it's a wrap on the sports segment of the news. Thank you for joining. Over now to the main desk for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Victor. Now to the foreign scene. The United States military has announced that it will begin blockading all Iranian ports today. Its latest move to exert pressure on Tehran after marathon peace talks in Pakistan concluded without a deal. Foreign desk editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Khadija Lawal.
In a statement on Sunday evening, U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, said the blockade would apply to all maritime traffic entering and exiting Iranian ports from 10 a.m. Eastern Time on April 13. That includes vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas, including those on the Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. However, U.S. forces will not impede freedom of navigation for vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz to and from non-Iranian ports. CENTCOM said in an apparent scaling back from President Donald Trump's earlier threat to blockade the entire strait and pursue ships paying tolls to Iran. The price of U.S. crude oil jumped 8% to $104.24 a barrel after the U.S. blockade threat, Brent crude oil, the international standard, increased 7% to $102.29. Iran has essentially taken control over the Strait of Hormuz, a vital checkpoint for the global energy market, since the US and Israel launched a war against the country on February 28. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said his country will not join the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, announced by United States President Donald Trump, a move also criticized by other US allies. Starmer said it was vital to get the straits reopened. Starmer made his statement as the U.S. military announced it would block all maritime traffic entering and exiting Iranian ports starting from 2 o'clock GMT. It was unclear, however, how the U.S. military would enforce the blockade. In peacetime, about 20% of the world's oil supplies pass through the strategic waterway that links the Gulf to the Indian Ocean. A reporter from London said Starmer has continued to maintain a delicate balancing act of saying the UK will not be joining the war while being careful not to level any criticism directly at Trump regarding his actions in the war. Traffic through the strait has been heavily restricted since the start of the war. Iran has allowed through only some vessels serving friendly countries, such as China. And lastly, Ukraine and Russia renewed overnight drone strikes today after the end of a 32-hour Orthodox Easter truce marred by accusations of mass violations, both countries said. The Ukrainian Air Force said Russia had launched 98 drones, adding that its air defense units had downed 87 of them. An infrastructure facility was hit in the central eastern Dnipropetrovsk region. Ukrainian authorities said, adding that information about casualties was being clarified. Russia, meanwhile, reported that on April 13th, air defense forces on duty intercepted and destroyed 33 Ukrainian aircraft type unmanned aerial vehicles. Last week, Moscow and Kyiv agreed to observe the ceasefire, which lasted from 4 p.m. on Saturday until the end of the day on Sunday. The Ukrainian army said it had counted more than 10,000 violations by the Russian army, most of which were frontline skirmishes. Khadija Lawal, BCOS News.
To end the news around the world, here again are the main points. President Bola Tinubu has held a security meeting with service chiefs, intelligence heads, and the Inspector General of Police. The federal government has granted a waiver on import duties for mass transit buses, electric vehicles, and manufacturing machinery. And on the foreign scene, we told you the United States military has announced that it will begin blockading all Iranian ports on Monday. BCOS website is live. Kindly visit www.bcostv.com. You can reach us on GoTV, channel 134 and channel 113 on Star Times. Now, before I go, don't join hoodlums in threatening the peaceful coexistence of the country. It is only in an atmosphere of peace that development thrives. That ends the news around the world. Good evening, and thanks for watching.